So if you have a website and you'd like to add sign in with Google in it, here is a way you can do that if you're using Angular 2 plus version. I've divided this video into two parts. One, a simple execution which requires hard coding metadata and script tags. The other, you'd be adding script and meta tag information explicitly. Let's start with a simple example. I've created a login component and let's add a router to that. Just for a heads up, we'll be using Bootstrap to create a form. I've used the Bootstrap library to create this form, which is just for show for now to make it look more real. It has fields first name, last name, male, and gender. To get access to Google's data, you need to have Google's API token. To get this, go to console.developers.google.com. Go to credentials and select zero auth client ID. Though I have one, let's create a new client ID. Select the type of application you want. For us now it's a web application. Set the name of the application. This name will be shown to the user while signing in via Google. Now copy this generated client ID. This is all you need to sign in via Google for now. There are two things required for us to send the information to Google. One, the meta tag with the client ID and the JS library from Google to handle this session. Note that the metadata tag name Google sign-in client ID will be searched by the API, so this name should be constant, and the JS file source API google.com/js/platform.js should also be constant. Now here is a hard-coded value of gSignIn2 of a div with the data-onSuccess onSignIn. This is the CSS class that is searched by the Google API. Now you can see the page appears and the button as well, but we getting the authentication error due to the reason that we haven't given the authorized JavaScript origin. You can give localhost here, but if you share the token it is not safe as it can be used by anybody else as well. So I'll give here and I'll click on the save button. Now let's try once again. And there you go. I'm gonna log in with my mail ID and close it. I'm gonna log in with my mail ID and then click on next, and you can see that the authorization is the preference of the user on Google. So I'm gonna log in with my mobile and yes, it's done. Now you need to get the data into the function so that you can use it to store in your application's database. Now let's sign out first. Now I'm gonna take this button div and I'm gonna paste it to the login component. so that it's rendered at the correct place. Let's hit it again, and here we are, and it should work as well. Nice. Now we need to implement this data success function. This is a little complicated. We'll have to import the ng zone service. The ng zone in Angular is used to control the execution of the code in and outside the Angular code base. So here we'll take a window on sign in attribute of it, the property of it, and then ngzone.run. Now in this we can give our predefined function that we can use in the same class. And let's see what data we get here. So I'm gonna click on sign in, and I'm gonna sign in again, and via phone, and boom, here we have the data that is given by the Google databases to us. Now for a cleaner view, let's console.log it. It seems a little better. So now you can implement everything with that. I guess all the data that you can send to backend, and you do not need to have the OTP to be sent on Now let's come to part 2. What if we need to add a little lazy loading in the component and in the application, and we just move all the commands to the login. Now there is a meta service which creates the meta tag. All you need is to import this meta service to and make an instance on constructor, and then create meta, call the meta service add tags, and just add the name of the tag with the same information that has been given before with name and the content. The content contains the token, the client ID generated by Google for you, and the name which is constant. Now let's check this once. Let's check the source once, and see if the meta tag is added, and that's the one that we commented before, and here it is, the meta tag that needs to be added by the component. Now moving on to the second thing, adding the script dynamically. Now let's remove the commented part and inject the script dynamically via the TS file. So for this we need some imports, which include injection of the document service, the renderer which will actually inject the code into the HTML file. Now go to ng on init, and let's add all the attributes that are needed. Let script equal to renderer dot create element. The create element will be the script type, and let's give all the inputs that are needed. Script.defer is true, script.async is true. Async is the property by which the script can be loaded asynchronously into the website. Okay, let's see, there's some problem with the script, I guess. Okay, so here was the problem, pardon me. The src and the location, the class name of the metadata. So let's try again once, and well, the class was added. Now let's go back to the URL. Now it is not added. Go to /login, and here we see the class and metadata added. So here the lazy loading was successful.